Life is about shedding the darkness and embracing the light of knowledge. So let's get together and awaken our minds. Hello friends, my name is Dr. Akash Ahuja and I'm a psychiatrist here in Los Angeles, California. I did my medical school from Maulana Azad Medical College in New Delhi, India, and I did my psychiatry residency from Minneapolis in Minnesota, USA. Today we are going to discuss a topic which is about the people we respect a lot. Those people have been our parents, our teachers, mentors, they can be our uncles. Yes, we are talking about elderly people. We are talking about our seniors. The people who have been the great leaders, the people who have contributed so much towards the family, taken care of us while we were growing up, provided a lot towards the country, and help us become what we are today. And when those people suffer, it hurts us. And there are, of course, so many problems that we cannot fix. But there are many issues which they deal with, which are related to psychiatry, which are related to mental health, and which can certainly at least be dealt with in some manner if we know about them. Today, my attempt will be to make you guys aware of some of those conditions. So let's start. I'll be using the slideshows to see a little bit about them. So again, we'll be discussing about the mental health issues in our elderly population, which is our seniors, as I said. Let's start with retirement. Well, we all think that retirement is such a fantastic time of our life. Many people wait for 10, 15, 20 years and they always say that, oh, when will be the time come when I will retire? And they have done so much in their community, they have done so much in their job, they have made tough decisions, they have led to the company growth, they have made money, they have fired people, hired people, and then one day they just retire. And if not planned very nicely, retirement can be an extremely stressful time, which sometimes people don't realize. Some of the things which people can have challenges with will be emptiness. These people have done so much, they have taken so many decisions, and now suddenly they are left with nothing from their work. I mean, they think that they'll be happy at home and they'll be enjoying with their grandkids, which they do, but at times they miss that opportunity of making the decisions, so they can feel very empty. Their routine gets upset. They think that, I can relax and I don't have to get up in the morning, and I have done that for last 30, 40 years, and now I will just lie down and take it easy. Well, it's not that easy for them also, which they don't realize. So they miss the routine, they get lost, they have no idea what to do, and at times they get so bored that it can lead to feelings of anxiety and sadness. Then they might think that they are a burden on their family and society. They shouldn't think that way, we can all say that. But let's be honest, they were bread earners, they were making money, and suddenly they have to rely on their pension, obviously, but sometimes they also rely on their children and other people in the community to help them out with their basic needs if not planned very well. And some jobs, let's be honest, don't pay that great pension, and that can be really, really stressful for them, for their ego, for their pride, and for their good mental health. They become low in confidence because of all these things, and they can certainly have feelings of depression and anxiety, and sometimes they also become suicidal, which is extremely dangerous. A lot of research has shown that people get sick, and some people get very sick during the first year after the retirement. So what can we do about it, right? If there is a problem, then there has to be a solution. At least that's what I believe in, and I'm sure you believe in too. So the idea is not that we shouldn't retire. Of course we should retire, but we should be prepared for our retirement in a better way. So what can we do? Plan if it's possible. I know it gets very difficult, it gets very murky, it's not easy to plan the retirement sometimes. But don't cut the hours from 40-50 hours a week to just zip zero. Try to work part-time, try to work 20 hours a week, try to work 10 hours a week, something like that. And then, maybe 2-3 hours a day or something like that. And then it might be easy for people to transition into retirement. Keep your independence. Meet your friends. Keep up with your family network. And meet people who you always wanted to. Travel if you can afford. Go to a movie. Do things which you think you'll enjoy. And try to keep your independence in that way. New hobbies. It's very important. I mean, if you always wanted to play golf, or you wanted to bowl, or you wanted to play cricket with your grandchildren, join a club, then do that. In fact, if possible, do that in your last year of retirement, so that you already have a friend circle, or at least a circle outside your work. So it's not like you get so empty that your life was so fixated only on your family members and to your work, because work is finished and family is still busy. Your son is still going to work, and your grandchildren will be going to school, and they will have their own friend circle. So try to maintain your new hobbies. Plan your day as before retirement. If you're getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning before, try to do that the same thing. Take shower, have breakfast, and go out. And again, follow your dreams and follow your hobbies. Plan your budget. I know sometimes people don't think about it too much. But plan, in fact, don't plan it after you get retired. Start planning it maybe 5 years before you're going to retire. Think about how much money are you spending now, what are your liabilities, who are you spending the money on, and think that, okay, what can be cut so that you can save some decent money for yourself. And as you retire, because the expenses will be there, the health can get worse, and you need money for yourself and maybe your spouse, and suddenly your income becomes very less. So if you have some money, that might help you to deal with your anxiety and stress in a much better way. So think about all those things and plan your budget, and that can really lead to a healthy retiring life. Friends, retirement can be a blessing or not. It's up to you to choose that way, and knowing these things and preparing yourself is really going to help you with retirement. Friends, now let's talk about some of the medical issues which are very prevalent in elderly people, like diabetes, stroke, and so many other things. These are very difficult to deal with anyway, but when they become more complicated because of the psychiatric or mental health implications, they become much more challenging. There are many of those diseases, but let's discuss two of them. I'll be talking about a little bit about diabetes and stroke. So let's discuss diabetes a little bit. Well, diabetes actually doubles the risk for depression. And depression can lead to non-compliance with diet and medications. So people who have diabetes, they need to be following the strict diet, they need to exercise, and they need to take their medications. And when they're depressed, they sometimes have this kind of attitude that, you know what, I don't care. And when they have this attitude, or when they have this disease, this symptom, then they don't take their medications on time, they might skip their medication, they might not follow their diet, which can lead to increased complications from diabetes, complications in their kidney, in their feet, and so many other things. Depression can be treated though. It can be treated through medications which are antidepressants, and it can also be treated with the help of psychotherapy. And it's not only will help them to feel better about themselves, it will help them to maintain their blood sugar in a better way, which can further help them to deal with the diabetes. Let's also now focus on stroke and depression. Strokes can be thromboembolic or hemorrhagic. Now, what is thromboembolic stroke? The thromboembolic stroke is when the blood vessels which supply the blood to the brain, there is some blockage and they cannot supply to that particular area of the brain. And hemorrhagic stroke is, as the name suggests, that the vessel ruptures and then there is blood, and again it affects the supply to a particular area of the brain. This can lead to loss of sensation in hand or legs. People might not be able to move their hand or legs, and they are bedridden. They sometimes cannot speak, they cannot communicate with other people. All these things can be very devastating. But the research has shown that depression occurs in 50% of the people who survive the stroke. That's a very high number. And depression after stroke can be due to biological and structural changes, as I just mentioned, and also due to the social influences and implications. I mean, imagine the person has done very well in their life, they lead a very active lifestyle, they exercise, they did well, and now they are bedridden. They cannot talk to their friends, family, and they might be relying upon the nursing staff or the family members to even help with simple basic needs of them. They might not be able to feed by themselves. So many things, which can be devastating for them, for their ego, for their prestige, which can further lead to feeling depressed. Now what can we do? Well, we can certainly have them on medications which are antidepressants like nortriptyline and citalopram, to name the few, but there are many other medications, and psychotherapy. Psychotherapy in these folks can also be very helpful. Friends, now let's talk about grief or bereavement. So what is grief and bereavement? Well, it's a loss of a loved one, which we all might notice, which we all might feel, but it's certainly the probability of facing grief or bereavement is higher in elderly people. They can lose a job, they can lose their loved one like a spouse, or they can also lose their child. So what happens when people grieve and they go through bereavement? Well, they can go through many stages like denial, blame, guilt, anger, and finally acceptance. These are not specifically in these order, but people might first deny that it has happened. They might try to bargain with people or with God actually, that it should not happen, or I will do if this should not happen. They might blame themselves or other people. They might feel so guilty that it happened because of me. If I would have only taken my wife to the hospital, she might have survived. Or if I would have done this, it would have been better. And finally, they do accept it. Grief and bereavement is natural and it's okay, but sometimes it gets very complicated. Sometimes it lasts for a long time and people can really become very suicidal and they can become very depressed, and at that time their loved ones, the surviving loved ones, their kids, family, friends, should try to get them help of a professional, doctor or a psychiatrist, and they should be started on antidepressants or should go through psychotherapy to help them deal with grief and bereavement.
Go ahead.
Friends, we discussed few topics today about the elderly people and how mental health issues can affect them. I really hope that you guys might have learned few things about the mental health issues, and it might benefit few people out there. Thanks again for listening to me, and take care.